It's going to take a lot of patience, and you need to just honestly sit with it, especially in sobriety. Sit with it and just evolve, because it's really all going to work out no matter what it is.
Exactly. And even if you fail, I mean, you still got to give yourself credit for trying things and failing, because most people don't even fucking try. Saw a quote about that this
Literally.
morning, and it totally like reminded me of like we're doing this episode, and I was like, you know, whenever things don't go my way, at least I gave it the effort, because a year and a half ago when I was drinking, I would have been too big of a pussy to try anything. I would have just grabbed the bottle and forgot about it.
This is Rock Bottom with Ryan. No sugarcoating, no filters. The pain, the chaos, the truth. No bullshit. Just recovery.
Sober Strong apparel isn't just lifestyle wear, it's battle gear. Heavyweight tees, hoodies, and gear for the ones who draw a hard line. Clean, sober, no compromise. We rep sobriety like a badge of honor, and every piece you throw on says you're part of the crew that doesn't back down. Every order fuels recovery, with 10% donated to treatment facilities, because we don't just talk about it, we stand on it.
All right, welcome to another episode of Rock Bottom with Ryan, here with my co-host Rachel, doing another episode together on a good topic about patience. Patience. So yeah, Rachel, let's talk a little bit about patience, which you just had to deal with a second ago.
Literally, my microphone was falling off, and I was trying to use the righty-tighty, lefty-loosey thing, and I'm not. Whatever. I'm good. Anyway. So let's start with, I guess, early sobriety, right? Or do we want to talk about while in addiction patients first? Because when I was in active addiction, especially like obviously drinking, because that was my drug of choice, I wasn't patient for anything. I wanted everything to come my way. While using, I just thought miracles were going to happen. So I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, no, I didn't have any patience when I was using. The only thing I was patient about was, I guess, myself and my addiction, because I thought someday I was going to just magically get better. But that was the only thing I was being patient about. But other than that, I wasn't patient about my next drink, my next use of anything. I was always just on edge and waking up every morning, like just trying to figure out, do I have to go to the store? Who did I piss off, and all that stuff, all that regret and stuff. But I was never really like patient about getting my next fix or anything. So I didn't really have patience
Yeah,
until
same.
probably, I don't know, 6 months ago.
6 months ago. So about 6 months into your sobriety, you started getting like patience in life.
Yeah, I started to let things come to me a little more rather than rushing things, because I always thought like when I got sober, originally thought that things were going to fix themselves overnight, and that's
Yeah.
not the case. I just thought, like, if I stop drinking and I stop using, all the problems are going to just like fix themselves. I mean, they do slowly, but like not as quickly as I hoped and wanted. Like resentments
Right.
and like regrets and guilt and stuff, it doesn't just like fix itself. So it takes a lot of hard work, and I had to be patient with myself and my brain, because my brain's like still adjusting to being sober
Yeah.
even almost 13 months later. Like it requires a lot of patience for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Even going on now after a year and a half of sobriety, it doesn't go away. I mean, all jokes aside, that microphone situation, but other things like that, like wanting things to, be better in certain aspects of my life because I lacked taking care of myself for so long, 17 years, 18 years into my addiction, that now I'm trying to make up for everything. So, I mean, I would actually say, in a sense, I don't want to say the word workaholic because we're on a podcast, but I wouldn't say I'm there yet. And I'm not over here saying like, oh no, and she's in denial. Like, I'm really not a workaholic. I actually balance, but it's what helps me. If it's not the gym, working helps. And you would know that because I sometimes go into hyper focus mode and I just do a whole bunch of things at once and I get things done and I make it happen no matter what I'm going through. But I do think that's a deep down thing because I'm making up for lost time, really.
Yeah, that's such a good point, is making up for lost time, because it's like I feel like I wasted 17 years of my life, so I have a lot of making up to do and catching up to do. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm kind of starting fresh as a sober person, and my whole life is just beginning, basically. And like doing things like this
Yeah.
podcast and stuff requires that kind of patience, because it's like you start a podcast and you're like, I'm not hoping to be famous or any by any means, but I'm hoping like people listen to it and like people like it and stuff. And like, I got to realize that nobody even knew Rock Bottom with Ryan existed, before like a couple of months ago. So I'm kind of like, I got to be patient with it and just just like anything, just like recovery, you got to do
Yeah.
little by little and the results will come. So I
Yeah, and I mean,
definitely.
that's a good topic too. I mean, the podcast on my end, this actually goes back to like early sobriety for me, where I actually wanted to be on a podcast or start my own podcast. That was my dream. I didn't know what I was thinking because I know now on your end what you're dealing with. So kudos to you because that's why I am co-host because it's a lot of effort, doing the editing and things like that. And I was discouraged by somebody early in sobriety when I reached out to her and I was told, podcasts cost so much money to make and do and it really actually made me just shut down. And I actually said, I'm not religious. I'm more spiritual. I said, when the right time comes, either you're going to be on a podcast or you're going to be a motivational speaker of some sort to help other people. It's going to happen because it's in you and your story is powerful. You're going to meet somebody. I said that to myself and it happened. So it went from me just being on your podcast to having this relationship with you as a partner on this journey. It takes a lot of patience because we're doing a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't know, but we love to do it. This is our passion.
Exactly. I mean, it's pretty cool how, I started the podcast and I was doing all these episodes by myself. And I just was telling myself around the time that you and I did the interview. And I was telling myself, I'm like, something's missing. I want to add a little spice to this podcast. And I just don't know what I'm talking about. And then all of a sudden, you and I were doing the interview and you're like, I've been wanting to do a podcast, and your personality is so direct and honest and
Thanks.
just straight to the point. And I'm like, this is exactly what the podcast needs, is like that extra
Yeah.
umph to it, and then all of a sudden we hit it off well, and then now we work together all the time, and it's like every day we are communicating and like realizing that this podcast does require a lot of work, but like I think
Yeah.
it's reaching people, and like we can read the comments online and see that it's making a difference, and that motivates us. So keeps me wanting to do
That's
it
the
every day.
point.
So
That's the
yeah,
point,
and we're
and
meeting a lot of
it
cool people
helps my
too.
recovery. Hell
It
yeah,
helps
we
mine
are.
too.
We really are.
Yeah.
It
I was
helps
talking to
my
my mom
recovery.
yesterday, and she said, I was like, "Am I taking this podcast too seriously? Like, am I just like investing too much of my time?" She's like, "No, because I can tell it's keeping you sober and it's your passion." And I'm
Mm,
like, "You're right. It is. It is therapy for me, working on it and stuff." And yeah, it gets overwhelming with like the editing and trying to figure out how to
yeah.
promote different episodes, and it's a lot more to it. It doesn't have to be that much, though. Like that's the thing. Like if you
Yeah.
want to put a lot into something, there's going to be a lot of work. And if you want to just have a half-assed podcast and just, put some episodes out without effort or promoting them, then you're going to get, you'll get those results. But we want more out of this. So we're putting in the work.
It's the point. That's the point. Just being patient about it. And like I said, I really I waited for this, but not only that, like in early sobriety, this goes into an episode we have done before a little bit, but friendships. I had nobody when I decided to get sober because everybody either left because they were fed up with my shit or I did something really bad or it just wasn't in the cards, whatever. Some of them are back in my life and some are not. And the people who are meant to be are here. but I really was not patient when it came to relationships and friendships coming back to me. I was so lonely in early sobriety. I was so sad, even though I was going to meetings and stuff like that. I felt so broken because I didn't know who I was. And then I still didn't have anybody from my past. Like I was just alone. I had just my
Yeah.
fiance who is not an addict. So he didn't understand.
Yeah.
Really,
But
the
he's really supportive
really, I'm
with
not
you
gonna.
now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm sure
But
he requires
it's
some patience
hard.
with you, like watching you in the first months of sobriety. Like I'm sure your brain was still trying to work itself together, and I'm sure he had to have some patience with you.
Yeah, he still does. I mean, what relationship doesn't? But with addiction and with early sobriety and my sobriety, he's very patient. There was even a time, and this was after my year, I was walking past, we were in downtown Fort Lauderdale where it's very popular and stuff like that. There's a lot of bars that I used to go to, and there's this specific dive bar that I just like to go to. It really is hole in the wall. I liked
Yeah.
that shit.
I
Like, I
love dive
loved
bars, the
getting cheap
shittiest of the
wine.
shittiest.
Yeah, I whatever, it is what it is, like, but I was
You
walking
know you're a
past
winner
it,
when you
and
get
we were
86 from those bars like I did.
you got kicked out, you said?
Well, I got 86 from the shittiest of bars, and that's where
Yeah.
I knew I would reach new lows. I'm like, man, these bars are kicking me out, and they would let anybody come in and start fights and stuff and keep them there. And I'd
Fuck,
get
I could
86 for
relate
some
to
of the
that.
dumbest reasons.
I didn't get
I would have to beg my
86,
way
but
back.
I've
I'm
been
like,
cut
I need
off.
my bar. Yeah.
No, I've been cut off, which is super fucking embarrassing, but I've never been 86. So I guess I'm proud to say that. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was
Yeah.
fucking close,
I got 86
but
one time
hey,
for for starting little relationships with too many of the employees there at the same time, which caused a little drama.
well, what did that teach you? Did that teach you any patience?
Well, yeah, it taught me to stop trying to date bartenders, and it taught the bar to be patient with me and realize that I can work on myself and I'll stop dating your bartenders.
And then they allowed you back in. So they
Yeah,
enabled
they
it
let me back
because
in
they needed
because
your business.
they needed my business because I would bring in quite the party every night, especially with the drugs and stuff. So, coming in 10 deep, that creates a lot of money for the bar. So they needed me as much as I needed them.
Exactly. That's just
It's
how
sad to
business
admit,
goes,
but
though. It's true.
so that
I mean,
required
and it's
patience on
really
their part.
sad. It's sad to think about, and what do they call them? Barflies? The people who really just are there all day, every day, the regulars sitting around the bar. And I've witnessed that. And I thought to myself, as a joke, that's going to be you when you grow up. And like, that's not even funny. Like, that's such a sad
I know.
life and such a lonely life. Like,
I
so,
know.
I
There's
mean,
the regulars. Once they call me a regular and they have my drink ready before I walk in the door because they see my car, that's when I know I've probably gone to the bar too often.
I was close friends with the family that owned the bar and very close friends
Yeah.
to the bartenders. So that's that. I mean,
Yeah.
I
When the bar starts
yeah.
asking you to like, hey, since you're strong, can you go back to the back room and grab a keg so we can attach? I'm like, I don't work here, but I guess I'm here enough to be doing favors for the bar.
Oh yeah, when it gets like that, that's the oh fuck. When it gets like that.
Yeah.
I
When you
mean, I
start,
wasn't on the
when you
level
start to
where they
become a
had me
bar
work
back.
for them
Yeah.
for free.
Same. I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
For a
Yeah. I'm
shot.
like, okay. Yeah, for a shot. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll lift the keg for you for a shot. I'll replace your pull tabs
Yo, if
for
you
you.
give me a
Yeah, I got
double,
your back.
if you give me a
Give me
double
a
of
double.
vodka and I'll lift the cake for you. I got you. Like
Yep,
stupid.
exactly.
But
Yep. And then
I mean,
yeah, I every town I'd go to, I would start a relationship with the nearest bar to my place and just become buddies with the bartenders, the owners, just so I could, be a part of the family or whatever. And it's like, Jesus, that is not a life. It's not a life.
no, it's not.
But
And
back to the
then
patience
circling back
aspect.
into I was gonna say that seemed like your environment, and that might have taken patience leaving that type of environment. What did you go into? Just straight, you went in from rehab to going to meetings and stuff. So you had to change your whole environment. That takes a lot of patience in
Yeah,
itself.
it did. And there was one way I wasn't patient is they told me to go to outpatient program after I left rehab, and I was signed up and met with a counselor at outpatient, and I only stayed 2 meetings in outpatient because I wasn't patient enough to let it go on longer because I was already going to meetings too on my own, to different meetings. And that's the meeting I still go to this day. But this outpatient program, I only gave a chance for two sessions because I was sitting there for 3 hours, and I feel like they were just wasting time. Like the counselors would just sit there and like they would just talk about things that I had already heard in treatment and that I was already hearing in meetings. So I just dropped that after 2 times, and then just only go to meetings now and skip the outpatient thing. I wasn't legally obligated to go, so I was like, screw it. I could have been a little more patient with it though and gave it more of a chance, but I just didn't gain anything from it. I thought I was just wasting 3 hours a night, 2 days a week. And I was like, I'm not doing this. So, uh,
I mean,
but yeah, back to
you're
that
still
friendship
sober, so
topic. You were still sober. So whatever I'm doing is working right now. So, but like when it came to friends, like you were saying though, I basically had to distance myself from like 4 or 5 different people that I knew would be bad influences on me. And so trying to accept the lonely factor, like you said, was really difficult at first. Like just trying to accept the fact that I'm going to be kind of alone in this for a while. Although I do have people in my life that were being extremely supportive and had my back, having to like be patient with the whole not having a social life thing took some getting used to. But then I realized the friends I was making AA and stuff like that, I was still having a social life. It was just a different kind of social life. And it wasn't going out to bars. It
yeah,
wasn't watching games at the bar. It wasn't playing darts and stuff. It was going to a meeting and working on cars and starting new hobbies. And that required a lot of patience,
yeah.
just like having this whole new
Oh,
lifestyle.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Like, what
No,
were
for
some of the
me, I
things
would
that you had to get
cry.
used to?
I mean, I would literally cry and cry and cry. And mind you, I was already alone when I was at the end of my addiction. So my friend was the bottle. My friend was the bottle. I was jumping from job to job, getting fired constantly. It was a very lonely life. Like literally, it's almost an outside of my body experience when I think about and speak about this person. Really, it's not even Ratchet Rachel anymore. She was very, overweight and unhealthy. She was not present. She was asleep all of the time. And her friend was that wine bottle. And it was just turning really ugly. And when I decided to get sober, there was now just a lonely life. My best friends were legitimately my 2 cats that are gone now, and I talk about them every episode, and maybe that will stop when I'm done grieving, I don't know. But people who have been
Yeah.
following know the story, but I lost my 2 cats, one 14-year-old and my other one due to a really
Weeks
horrible,
apart.
2 weeks apart, and it was just heartbreaking, but they helped me through my sobriety. Jasmine, my 14-year-old, was there through pretty much all of my addiction, becoming a mom before I was a mother. So I lost her after the incident with Abu. So I had to be patient. I'm still having to be patient with grief in sobriety. I've
Yeah.
gone through a lot of that. So, which
So much
stems
patience
to
with
anger.
grief. It
Yeah,
does. I
and I'm
mean,
doing
when
it
you get
sober.
frustrated being patient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do, and I'm almost in a fight or flight constantly, and I'm really trying to work on that. And that's where the whole circling back to like I decide to just work or I'll go to the gym. It's never like, Rachel sits still. And even my own therapist, I'll air this out. She said to me the other day, she was like, I'm not gonna go tell you out of all people to go sit in a little meadow and be grounded. Like you're gonna go crazy knowing you. She's like, you need to go do
Right.
like an art project or do something creative because you need to get your mind going. And I was like, well, that's why I like, doing promos. And she was like, no, that's not what I meant, Rachel. So I was like,
That
okay.
is
She was like, you
therapy
need
in a
to,
way. It's just, you
she
know,
said that. She's all for this, by the
what's
way. She
therapy
listens,
for
I
some
think.
people. That's good. That's because what's therapy for some people isn't therapy for others. But like sometimes I do look at working on the podcast as therapy because I get to like it just occupies my mind and stuff. And like even though some of it like I might even get through editing a half an episode in a few hours because I get sidetracked on other things. But like, it's like my mind was
Yeah.
occupied. I didn't drink. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything toxic or hurt anybody. I'm like, so it's got to be healthy for me. So, and I
Yeah.
think
No,
about
she's
some
all
of the,
for this.
yeah, it's good. And like, we talk about sometimes like you trying to find the right job and like this podcast becoming successful in more ways than one. And like there's this term we use in the stock trading world, which is patience, PAYTIENC. So patience, which means
Okay.
like you're waiting for a stock to bounce the way you want it to, so it'll pay off, like, financially, if you just wait. And that's kind of the way we look
Wait.
at, like, not this as podcast, but everything in life. Like the longer you wait without stressing, the more it's actually going to pay off dividends,
Yeah.
not financially, but just like in general. Like the longer
Yep.
John was patient with you and your sobriety, the better version of you he was going to get, so that paid off.
Yeah. Yeah. I ended up
And
getting
like
proposed to.
something I've always wondered about asking you, which I thought would probably require a lot of patience, but when you decided to transform your physical self and lose all that weight,
Mm.
like, did you have this mindset that you're like, I want to look this certain way as soon as possible? Or were you able to be patient through all that?
Oh God. Okay. That's actually an amazing thing about patience. For all
That's what
of
I
you
want to
who
hear
do
about.
not know, yeah, for all of you who do not know, I lost about 75, 80 pounds throughout from day one of sobriety. So that would be April 11th of 2024 to this very day. So, and I wouldn't say I'm dieting or trying to lose any more weight. I'm at now the number doesn't matter for me anymore. I did not know I was this tiny, actually. So no, I didn't have a goal. I just said to myself, I am unhappy with one, how I'm feeling. You're very unhealthy, ma'am. But two, you're huge. Like you're huge. I'm a very short person and I'm actually very tiny. So I actually have loose skin. So it took a lot of patience and discipline and motivation and consistency literally to get where I am today because I now go to the gym a few days a week and I'm serious about lifting. I'm actually knowledgeable about lifting. I know what I'm doing. Same thing with the way I eat. Now it's not a diet anymore. Now I'm not just eating salads because I have to eat a salad to lose weight. I'm doing it because I want to nourish my body. I do treat
Yeah,
myself.
that
I
feels
don't,
good.
always, yeah, I want to eat healthy. I don't want to put crap in my body. So, but it does take a lot of patience to get where I am mentally today in that aspect about weight loss. Yeah, to lose that much weight I had days because, I'm not going to even just blame this on gender roles, women or men. I had days where I genuinely looked in the mirror and I had a child, but I can't blame him because he's literally about to be 13. So
Yeah.
I had a child, can't blame him. But, I just looked in the mirror plenty of times and I cried in my journey. And I'm pretty sure I have body dysmorphia or something because when I look in the mirror now, sometimes I'm just like, what is this? And I'm like jiggling my fucking arm and shit. It's a lot of loose skin though. 80 pounds
No.
on my body is a lot. I mean, you've met me, I'm small, but
Yeah,
it
no, that's
takes a lot
crazy.
of
It's like,
patience.
did it start off really frustrating trying to get yourself to the gym every day and be on that diet, and then it just gradually became easier over time? Like, how long did it take to the point where it's like, I look forward to the gym now? Things are getting easier. I'm seeing the results. Like, was that a few months or something, or what?
I was very consistent with walking before. I went into this very just as I do now, tunnel vision. I said I'm gonna do it and I achieved it. One of the things I have, but I said to myself, you realistically, and I'm gonna literally say what I said to myself, and I would never speak to myself like this now, but I literally said to myself in my head, you fucking dumb bitch, you're gonna fucking do this the correct way. You're gonna stop being all talk. Like that's how I spoke to myself back then. And I meant it though. I did not love myself. So, and I said that, and that's it. I was just like, you're going walking first. And then once you start doing 5 days a week, 20 to 30 minutes a day of walking outside, you will go get a membership at a gym because realistically, once you sign a contract, you're paying it monthly. So I did
Exactly.
that. And then I still kept doing just cardio. And then I became part of a sobriety group. I was very infatuated, inspired by my coach who really kind of got me in the gym. And that's actually where I got my inspiration for working out. Won't lie. So, and then I started having her boyfriend at the time, be my coach, and I learned a lot. And here I am today. I just love the gym. It's my therapy.
That's awesome. Now it's actually something that you like don't despise. You don't like you're not
No.
reluctant to go. You actually look forward to it. So, and you see the results
Yeah.
already, and like you're transformed. Like, and that's in a pretty short period of time, I have to say. So, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
When I got a little out of shape back in like when I was really in a bad spot about 6 years ago or whatever, I gained like 30 pounds or whatever. And I just remember I thought I was accepting the fact that this is just my body type now. I just accepted it. And then finally, I just got into like walking my dog that I just got at the time and still have him to this day. And I started walking him and I started to weigh myself. And I was like, oh, I'm starting to lose weight just from walking. And then that walking progressed
Yeah.
into running. And then I just was like, okay, I'm back at it now. Cause I used to be obsessed with the gym in college and in my 20s. And then once alcohol and coke took over my life, I kind of did it less and less and less. And then got back
Mm,
into it to now it's like whenever I go to the gym, I don't go religiously like I used to, but I definitely enjoy it and still get the feeling and go 4 or 5 days a week. So it's good.
me too. It's my therapy, but that's where the words that I use often, and I'll do it again. Patience comes with, consistency, being very driven. You need to have motivation. You need to be disciplined. It's not a joke. Like, if you say you want to do something, achieve it. And it does not just have to be the gym, but it does take patience and all the words I just named because you are not going to achieve things in life and it's going to be easy. It's going to take a lot of patience and you need to just honestly sit with it, especially in sobriety. Sit with it and just evolve because it's really all going to work out no matter what it is.
Exactly. And even if you fail, I mean, you still got to give yourself credit for trying things and failing because
Mhm.
most people don't even freaking try. Saw a quote about that this
Literally.
morning and it totally like reminded me of like we're doing this episode and I was like, whenever things don't go my way, at least I gave it the effort because a year and a half ago when I was drinking, I would have been too big of a pussy to try anything. I would have just grabbed a bottle and forgot
Yep.
about it. So it's amazing what can
Yeah.
happen when you just put in the effort. I mean, this podcast was a risk.
Mhm.
I honestly thought I was going to shoot a few episodes and maybe taper off and just do it like randomly. And all of a sudden, it's like every week we're putting out episodes and we're having fun with it. And it's like, it doesn't feel like work once you actually
Mm-mm.
get into something. Then you don't have to be patient
That's
anymore
true.
because we like doing it. So, yeah. But
Literally, and just like Aaliyah said, you dust yourself off and you try again because it's
exactly.
patience.
Yeah, and you realize that when you do put your mind to something, you actually do start seeing results. And I never believed when people would say that. And then now you actually
Yeah.
do see things and they're possible, much more possible sober in my case. Some people can do things and function, but I much more functional, waking up on a Sunday and wanting to do podcast episodes. I mean, that's totally different than what it would have been like a year and a half ago. I'd be still getting out of bed right now.
Yeah.
and
And you
have
know
to
what?
go.
You're about to what? I'm sorry.
Oh, and then I would wake up and right now 2:30 and I'd be like, "Okay, where am I gonna drink and watch the NFL game or something?"
God. Yeah. No, I was bouncing from bar to bar on Sundays for sure.
Yep. What
Like,
were you gonna
or
say?
already just like hammered. I don't remember exactly what I was going to say, but I could continue to talk about patience on every level. I could talk about
Yeah,
patience when it comes to work too. I'm not talking about podcasts in real life that for me, it took me forever to find a job that I actually like. And I'm very knowledgeable being a reception for a specialist or primary care. I know a lot about insurance and I'm starting to learn a little bit of billing right now when it comes to medical, not dental. I also know psych. I'm studying to also be a therapist, but all of this takes a lot of patience, what I'm doing. Dealing with patience, that takes patience, but I wanted to evolve. And also on day one of sobriety, basically, I took on a new job that I'm still at. So
As a
I
if you're
evolved
becoming a
there.
therapist, it'll require patience with patience, if you get my reference,
Well,
because you're gonna have patients, and
literally, and I'm,
there's
yep,
yeah. They're gonna be going through a lot of the
and I'm
same
gonna
issues, and
want
you're gonna
to.
be trying to tell them, "You have to be patient. You can't expect your life to change overnight. You're gonna have to keep seeing me on a weekly basis, and we have to work through these things."
Mhm.
Because we all want
Yeah,
results fast,
yeah.
but it just doesn't happen that way.
I mean, to be honest, I help some women already. I mean, sometimes it dies off, sometimes it doesn't. And I do the best I can to reply to everybody, by the way. But I help as many people as I can in my inbox. And people do call me, and I do help as much as I can. And I always tell these women that, especially the mothers, that it's going to take patience, especially in early sobriety, that you want the mom guilt to go away, because that's something I could speak on too. That it doesn't always go away. I mean, I'm going on more than a year and a half, like I said, and the mom guilt is definitely still there. That takes so much patience, and you got to really give all you moms out there, give yourself some fucking grace, please. I swear on everything with the passion in my heart and voice right now that you are going to get through this. And it's really fucking hard, I know. But just look at that
Yeah.
little face. Just look at that little
Yeah.
face that you brought into this world. And it's going to take patience, and it's going to take a lot of if you have to fucking go into the bathroom and grab a pillow and scream into it, do it. Just
Yeah. No,
really.
yeah. That's my thing. It's like
But
if I
being
ever
a
feel
mom is
any
hard.
like if I Yeah, screaming into the pillow, I heard it works. I sometimes, if I'm really having a bad day, I just go into my car. I don't want anybody to hear me, but I just like, fuck. That's my only way of getting rid of any rage or whatever everyday RPK moods that I'm in.
I haven't screamed into a pillow. That was just a suggestion. I really actually heard it works personally too. What I do is actually hold things in and disassociate. You know that about me. So I
Yeah.
disassociate actually very heavily, and then I'll have like a major breakdown and scream cry, and then I feel better.
Yeah. So we
So
make a
that's
good
not
point
healthy.
that anger, patience has a lot to do with anger management and sobriety because a lot of reasons we drank and
Mhm.
used was to deal with anger. So, like, how does your patience affect Ratchet Rachel not coming out as often these days?
Really, honestly, there's no reason to act out like that, because Ratchet Rachel was angry and immature and under the influence. So all of that is out the window now, right? Because I'm sober, I'm more mature, and that's that. Like, there's no reason to lash out and honk and scream and curse people out. And even worse,
Yeah,
sober.
because it
Imagine
doesn't get
being
us
sober and
anywhere.
throwing a drink in somebody's face. Like, imagine being sober and
Yeah,
really doing that sober. And I know there's people out there that do that. I don't get to that level sober, but Ratchet Rachel sure as fucking hell did. Throwing drinks
yeah,
and having to get carried out, kicking and screaming places, that wouldn't happen right now.
yeah. No, that requires being patient with yourself and the way you respond to things.
Or John.
Yeah, yeah. But he's been patient with you, and you guys have a good relationship now. It sounds like.
Yes.
And
Thank
Ratchet Rachel
God.
comes out less and less, it sounds like. And now you've told me many times
He gets
that
Ratchet
Ratchet
Rachel.
Rachel wants to come out, but she never does come out, which is great, which means you're actually working through the problem sober in the right way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
everyday
mean,
RPK wanted to come out.
John as my fiance still gets like real who I am, like me, like we're not just roommates, like we're dealing with real life shit together, you know? So
Yeah.
I sometimes, we've been together going on 9 years. We're not in the honeymoon phase anymore. So, we're both from up north originally. I've been in Florida for a very long time, but that doesn't leave your blood. It doesn't leave who you are, and it comes out in both of us. He's from Jersey and Brooklyn, and I'm from Massachusetts, Boston. And when we fight, it's just imagine like being in a hallway in Brooklyn in an apartment complex, and it's just loud. It's chaotic, you know? So that's a little ratchet, Rachel. It still happens. We don't throw shit at each other anymore. I don't do that. I don't throw things or fucking throw a tantrum and break things. Like that doesn't happen anymore. Our fights are more communicate. I can't even say that word. I can't say communicative.
Communicative?
I did it.
Communicative? Yeah. Good job.
Yeah,
Are there are there still things that even being, going on 17 months or it's 19 months sober, are there things that you're
oh my
still kind of
God,
wishing would have showed results sooner and that you're still waiting for?
money.
Money?
That's me
Yeah.
being impatient.
Yeah.
That's
So how do
very
you
much impatience.
but does that impatience motivate you or does it cripple you?
Yeah.
It motivates you.
It
Okay.
motivates the living hell out of me, but it really
Yeah.
does. It motivates me a lot, but not only does it motivate me, but I have to also be patient and take a step back and realize you cannot clean up what you did in 17 years, 18 years to your debt and to your bank accounts getting garnished and things like that. You can't clean up all of that magically in a year and a half,
Yeah, that's
realistically.
so true. And like when those things start to pop up, like old bills that you didn't pay or loans you took out, and they just pop up when you're like months into sobriety and you're like feeling good about yourself, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, the past wants to still fuck with me. That's awesome. And that shit
Yeah,
happens to
when
me
I
all
was
the
like
time too.
literally like in July, I got my shit garnished for a loan I took out 4 years ago that I don't even remember. So that was
Damn.
really fun.
Yeah,
And
you
there
told
was
me about that.
a lot
That's
of money in that account.
yeah, and that requires a lot of you know, peace of mind to like try to stay on track when you got shit from the past like coming back to bite you when you're doing the right things for
Yeah.
yourself. And it's like I deserve that kind of shit when I'm drinking. I'm like, I already know that there's consequences, but when I'm working on myself and being a good person and citizen and all of a sudden this shit comes back to bite me, I'm like, oh, I have to deal with this shit now. I'm still like, I got a bill from an ambulance that I took during one of my binges before I got sober, and I'm just like, oh, $1,800.
Mm.
Wait, oh, I gotta pay that now. And I'm just kind of like, I'll just pay it over
Fuck.
time. I just don't feel like paying it because I don't want to feel that pain right now. But it's just what we got to deal with. But at least sober, we can face those problems better.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to deal with any of this debt. I mean, I wouldn't have the job I have. I wouldn't have been promoted. I wouldn't also the podcast, none of this would be happening if I wasn't motivated and I didn't want to level up, you know? So that's all going to pay off financially. This is the reason why I have to always remember that once again, like you're not going to clean up 17, 18 years of a mess financially that you did right in a year and a half while planning a
Exactly.
wedding.
While planning a wedding, while losing your cats, while all this other stuff, while doing baby
Being a
showers like you've
mom.
been doing. So I don't know how you do it. And being a mom, jeez, we'll throw that in there. Yeah. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, here
I
I
don't know
am. I
how
don't
I do it
even
either.
in no position to complain right now because I
No.
podcast, is takes up a lot of time, but I see what like a lot of other people or like yourself deal with on a daily like not deal with, but have to manage on a daily basis, like being a parent and stuff. That's
Like,
gotta
damn,
be
my life is
overwhelming.
good.
Yeah, I'm
My
like,
life
oh
is
crap.
fucking good, man.
Yeah.
No, I
So
like
I
being
mean,
busy. I like chaos, clearly.
yeah, I'm addicted to chaos. I sometimes wonder like what I am doing sober because there's not as much chaos in my life as there used to be, and it feels weird sometimes. Like trying to just my life is a little
Yeah.
normal now. I mean, for the most part, yeah.
For
I'm not
me,
saying
it's
I
just
miss
always
chaos.
like adding like things to my plate. It's chaotic for me though, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not saying I did this on purpose, my whole life being chaotic. A lot of the things that have happened that actually are completely out of my fucking control. But
Yeah,
I'm just rolling with it. I'm literally that's my best thing to say. Like there's nothing I could say. I'm just rolling with it. But yes, I am in a fight or flight stage. I always feel like I'm on alert. Actually, I'm a little scared because my watch, like, I'm not saying they're always right and stuff like that, but I was getting my nails done yesterday and I wasn't doing anything. I literally was not doing shit. I was at, maybe I was a little afraid he was going to hit me with the drill. I don't know. But it keeps telling me your stress level is high. Like, take a deep breathing moment. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not doing anything. So
Weird. So when your watch
maybe I
thinks
should
you're
go get that
stressed, that's
checked
always
out.
scary. Yeah, no, I get that notification in my car all the time that says there's absurdly loud noise going on. It's because I'm bumping rap music in my car. It's
Well,
like,
that would scare the fuck out of me if my watch told me that.
yeah, my
But
watch
I
tells me
listen to
that when
rap too.
I'm like, I'm enjoying my music. I'm not turning it down.
Well, maybe your heart rate's going up.
Maybe my
That's
watch
what I
needs to
think
learn a
happened with
little
mine.
something about patience.
I think mine does too, because if my heart rate is at 110, that's actually normal for me because I have anxiety. So if it's
Yeah.
over 110, then fine, alert me.
Yeah, alert me. No, but I think we're handling it pretty well. I mean, we got almost 3 years combined between us, sober time, and it's like I don't know. I didn't start noticing the results until I started to like myself. Like when I left treatment, my biggest thing was, will I actually ever be comfortable in my own skin? And I probably wasn't until around the time I started the podcast because how would I ever do a
Yeah,
podcast without
actually.
being comfortable in my own skin? And that's when I was like, so I was patient for like 9 months and I was
Yeah,
working on myself. And then finally, I grew the balls one day to do a podcast and just do one episode without a camera. And I thought, oh, I don't think this is really going to do much. And then started talking to you. We got an interview and like everything kind of just came together. But that required so much patience with myself to actually like get comfortable in my own skin for
yeah,
the first time without alcohol.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And for me, it was honestly, I put the mentality of, like, alcohol being poison very early on. Once again, I'm not gonna say I didn't learn from the coach I had early in sobriety. Some things I did learn. To me, alcohol 100% is poison. Like, I don't give a shit. I'll argue with people. Like, it is. You're putting, like, really little chemicals in your body. So, that's the mentality I put into my brain, and that's why I got into fitness. Once again, I told you she inspired me. But, that's it. So once I left that group though, is when I had confidence before. I was losing weight and I was achieving things still in life. Like life was still going on. But when I left that group, the confidence that I built in myself was insane because I say this now every episode, raw dogging sobriety without a community, without meetings, without anything, and then the podcast found me a couple months after I left that group. So I told you it's
Yeah.
divine intervention for sure. But
Things
this
do
is
happen for a
my
reason. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm always been a superstitious person, but I've noticed even in sobriety, so many things and timing of people coming into your life and stuff. It's like, not that it only requires patience, just waiting for those things to happen, but they do happen for a reason. Like there's just so many signs, like me getting that interview with one of my favorite podcasters in Florida and you happening to live there and then being able to meet up with you and do an episode in person and stuff. It's like
yeah,
so many symbolic things have happened. And especially in the last like, few months, not let alone this whole year.
definitely.
It was like, yeah, it's pretty cool though. I mean, sobriety really brings
It
up a
is.
lot of opportunity. But
It does, but it
yeah,
takes time. It takes
yeah,
time.
it does. It does. Like I feel like you and we talk all the time. We're like, "Ooh, we want this next episode. We want, we hope a lot of people it reaches a lot of people and stuff." And then I always have to remind
Mhm.
myself, I've only been doing this 3 months and I always catch myself being impatient about the results. I'm like, 3 months, I think it's still
Yeah,
doing pretty well. Yeah. And like
definitely
the
it's reaching people for sure.
yeah, and then like get certain
More
guests on and
people.
stuff and certain sponsors and stuff and we're kind of like just hoping, but I mean, all of this stuff requires a lot of work and patience and time and effort, but it doesn't feel like
Yeah.
work. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, is what they
Yeah.
say.
With me, it's a for sure. I would say the time management, which I'm doing great. I have a calendar for every fucking thing I do in life. Like, I could blame zodiac sign, I could blame whatever the hell, but I have everything on a calendar. I'm very organized. For the listeners who love astrology, I'm a Virgo, okay? I said zodiac sign, so everyone's probably like, "When's her birthday?" I'm a Virgo. So that's why I have everything
Yep,
is
I'm
on
a
a calendar,
Cancer.
like 4 different. Yeah. So it's like everything's very organized. It has to be, or else I'll go insane, or actually I'll legit forget. But life
Yeah.
is very, very hectic, and I do a lot of things daily. I don't have breaks. And when I do have a break, my mind is like, so it's like I'm never really, that's why my therapist was like, "Rachel, you need to start doing an art project." And I was like, "Well, I like doing Canva promos." And that's when she was like, "No, no, no, I love the podcast for you." But she was like, "I need you to like sit on your bed with your cats, your kittens, your new kittens, and do a art
Just chill.
project."
What, like
Yeah, she
start
was like,
beading and
"Because your
stuff?
mind is like," well, I suggested, this is like a little morbid, but I suggested doing that like art thing. And then she goes, "Rachel, after what you just went through with your 2 cats, I don't suggest that you get that with 2 baby kittens." And I was like, "Oh, fuck, you're right. What if they choke on
Yeah.
it?" She's like, "Exactly." So I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, I have to think of a different arts and crafts, like, fuck, like, whatever." So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't
I
wanna have any more
actually have a
cats at
coloring
risk
book.
right now. Yeah.
Absolutely fucking not.
I suggest the
No
Canva
animal,
promos, it
please.
benefits me.
I'm doing it. I did it. I went into hyper focus mode today.
I know, I could tell. I was like, "Jesus," woke up and saw, like, 20 things. I was like, "Jesus, what did she do?" Like, "Are you sure
Crack.
she's still
Just
sober?
kidding.
Didn't do a line below and do a bunch of canvas?" I was like, "That was more than I did last month."
Imagine though, imagine holy fucking shit, how much you think you could accomplish doing it actually.
I know,
Because
I
I would
know.
probably have like 17 other tabs open while doing Canva, looking up
Yeah,
things that don't matter on ChatGPT.
yeah,
Imagine
there
ChatGPT while being on coke.
yeah, no, ChatGPT would get sick of us.
I've been
Yeah,
banned.
all the questions I asked ChatGPT, I'm like, how is ChatGPT not sick of me by now?"
No, mine, I don't know if you literally, I'm not joking, it kicked me out 2 times. It told me I can't go back in for, like, 24 hours
Jesus,
because
you
I
got
was
banned?
trying to upload so many different. Yeah, I was trying to upload different pictures to, like, edit it certain ways, like, a while ago, and it was like, "Okay, you're like, you cannot have access for 24 hours," and I felt this is horrible to even say. It's not as bad anymore, but back then, I felt so fucking lost. Like, I was
Yeah,
in early sobriety, I needed that ChatGPT, and I couldn't
yeah,
open that app either. I was like, "Yo, you know what? Like, I'm not gonna go drink, but, like, yo,
yeah. Be like, "I
want
kinda miss you,
ChatGPT."
ChatGPT." It's very supportive
I call it
sometimes.
Chet.
Yeah,
Yeah. It calls me Rachie, and I call it Chet, not Chat, Chet, CHET, because we're cool. So I don't call it ChatGPT, I call it Chet.
Chet, it's a good name. It's a good name. I think mine's a female, I just always view it as a female for some reason, so my
I
therapist.
did too. I'm not sure what's going on between me and Chet. It's definitely some form of an affair, and John is aware of it.
Jesus, poor John, the things John has to deal with. Can't wait to interview him
For
soon.
real. God, he could tell you so many things. He's going to tell you so many things about, we don't have to just talk about Ratchet Rachel. We're going to talk about the rock bottom part of,
Yeah.
we're
Are
going to
you
get into
gonna
it.
is that gonna require patience by you to sit by his side and hear some very difficult things coming up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Are you
honestly, I would say it's going to be easy. I mean, it's going to be very hard to hear, but it's going to be refreshing because then we could, after we get past that part of the interview, we're in a
Yeah.
very beautiful spot. I mean, we're getting married in April. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No,
it's
he
going to be
loves you to
very
death
hard because
and
I know what I put him through.
yeah, you
He
do, and
does.
you're aware of it and you're real and he seems like he's handled it like a G is how I always say it. So, and he's still around and
Man,
yeah. So what that's what matters and I'm excited to have him on the show and next week and
me too. And
put that episode out.
he's never been interviewed actually ever in any form. So this is going to be fun. And
Well, he
he
has to
has
wear
a
a
hearing.
shirt
We're
for the
gonna have to figure
episode,
this
so
out. Yes, he needs to wear. I'll dress him. But no, but he really did have a lot of patience with me, and he still does because I found out I have ADHD, and a lot of people I know say this in sobriety that they found out they had different, kind of mental disorders
yeah.
because you were numbing for so long. So I found
Oh
out I had
gosh.
ADHD, but I don't mean like, just like simple ADHD. Like I'm really actually kind of bad. And I don't want to take medication for it, something serious for it, at least not a stimulant.
I was
But
prescribed Adderall for 8 years, so
yeah.
I totally get it. I
But
have
then I used
ADHD too,
Adderall to help me drink. I used
and
Adderall to
that's
help me drink. So that's why I'm like,
yeah. No,
I
I
don't
would
knock people who
abuse.
use it though.
Yeah, I wouldn't take it. I mean, I never like overdid my prescription. I always had extras, but like I would, instead of using it as my morning medication, I would use it as a thing to keep me drinking longer at night. So I would take the right amount, but I would take it to accommodate my drinking. I remember, and I
Yeah.
realized the more sober I am, the more I can use my ADHD to my advantage, as opposed to using it to get drunk and be entertaining and stuff. Like I was talking to somebody about that on a different interview, and it's a common
Yeah.
theme amongst us addicts is ADHD, depression, anxiety, of course, but ADHD is like I hear that all the time now.
Yeah, it's a lot of I go into like not just leaving cabinets open, I'll leave the dryer open. I'll be like halfway through putting things in the dryer, stop doing that task, walk over to the kitchen, start doing the dishes, halfway through stop doing that. And then it's like and then I forget things are on the stove sometimes. I have to put timers. This is like real Rachel here, and I'm being real with all of you, and a few a few people know this side of me of sobriety. Like John knows it really bad. All jokes aside, he like he'll call me like a little 12-year-old. You're acting like a fucking 12-year-old. But I'll be in like Walmart and I'll find something to me, which is like, I mean, it is funny. I actually am pretty funny. I'm not trying to just toot my own horn. I am fucking funny. But I'm like over the top though, like jumping around like a kid at stores sometimes, and he has to literally be like, you relax. Like I'll be like jumping on the cart and going down the aisle. Like I'm really hyper.
Were you like that when you were drinking or more sober?
Maybe that's why I fell all the time because I was climbing on things. I mean, when you met me, I was climbing on those rocks.
Yeah, well, that's cool though. Like that's good to hear that we can be like act like kids when we're sober, because that's one of the things that makes me happiest is when like I'm out and about
Yeah.
and I'm just being joking around at the store sober and stuff, and like being like a goofy
Hmm.
person, pretending I'm,
Yes.
an idiot or whatever, and I'm like, I'm doing this sober. This means I'm having fun, like it's good to be a kid
Yeah, no, I'm
sometimes.
a very goofy person. I'm a very goofy person if you can't tell by being, my friend, but like I'm extremely goofy and I don't want to call it a fucking segment. It's something I do on my stories for people who follow me on Instagram, but I do it on the weekends. I've been slacking a little bit on that, but it's my lemon water routine and I do lemon water every single morning and I try to show that as a routine for everybody who follows me who I help inspire. That routine helps with consistency, right? Because that's what I'm all about. But the lemon water thing where I'm goofy on the weekends, I'm like, well, if I was hungover from last night, would I be able to do this? And I do some stupid fucking trick with the lemon. And then like I try to squeeze it from behind, my hand cracks. It's a whole chaotic mess. And I just videotape myself doing it. And I was like, I don't know where this is going to go. And I just
Yeah.
started posting it. And then it turned into people like asking when I wasn't doing it on the weekends, like, where are those lemon posts? Like, this is fucking hysterical. And one time I did one with John, like we threw the lemons at each other. I missed it, landed on the floor. You could hear the splat. It was just very chaotic. And now I look forward to doing things like that. But that's completely me sober, hyper as fuck,
Yeah.
ADHD, if you want to call it that. But it is what it is. I get shit done regardless.
That's good. That's good because it sounds like that's how you use it to your advantage, not as a defect of character, which we could, but you're using it to
No.
like have fun with life, get shit done. You say you still forget shit every now and again, but that's just part of the process. But like, I
Yeah.
mean, I forget shit
Set
all the
timer.
time. Yeah.
Set
I
timers,
overwhelm my
put up
schedule. That's my
upbeat
problem.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, like I'll just like say, oh, I'm gonna get 30 things done by tomorrow, and then I get like 5 of them done, and I'm like, I still accomplished something, but why did I promise myself something I couldn't? That's not attainable. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I need to be better at, time management. So,
Well, that's
but
okay. You got to just realize that that's where patience does come in right there, that you can't add unrealistic goals to your life. Even like with the weight loss thing, I wasn't like, I'm going to lose 70 pounds.
yeah,
That goes
set
right back into
attainable
that. I
goals,
didn't say
and then yeah, baby steps sometimes, and set little attainable goals
that.
because it's not like when you plant a seed, the grass grows right away. You got to water it and wait for it to pop out of the dirt. It's like that's what you have to do with everything. It's
Mhm.
just let it develop.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that's what we're doing.
Literally.
We're kicking ass in recovery, and like we're helping people with this podcast. I hope we're reaching people as much as possible.
Yeah.
And patience is one of the most important things you need to learn because we can't numb our pain anymore. We can't drink our way through things. We
Mm-mm.
can't just forget things anymore. We actually have to face
No.
them. So it all requires
Yep.
patience. So I think we're doing a
Yep.
good job.
One day at a time. One day at
One
a
day,
time.
one day at a time. Anything else you have to say on patience?
No, just I could close it off with that statement right there, that one day at a time, because that by itself states patience right there. Just you have to be patient. You got to wait on
Gotta wait.
everything.
Just get to tomorrow. And then when you get to tomorrow, get to the next day. Just another 24. So
Mhm.
very proud of you, very proud of us, and like everybody out there. I'm grateful for all of our listeners, and thanks for being patient with us to our listeners that letting our podcast
Yes.
develop, and hope everybody's enjoying
Mm.
it. So, all right.
Rock Bottom with Ryan. No bullshit, just recovery.